For over 50 plus years, the United States, the Department of Defense, and the Government Accounting Office, and many consulting firms for the government have studied letting people serve this country and being completely honest about their sexual orientation. And they have found in all those studies of 50 plus years that there is absolutely no negative impact for people serving openly. Serving in silence is an unfair, unconstitutional, wrong, and hypocritical policy, and it needs to go, not today, but many yesterdays ago. In fact, the day that it was initiated, it should have never happened, because had it not happened, based on Lieutenant Colonel Kammeyer's lawsuit and a few other lawsuits, there would have been no excuse for the Department of Defense to not let people serve openly. What happened when that happened was wrong.
I was going to say, I really thank the panel for being up there and speaking for those who can't speak, those that can't come out of the closet in the military or don't have the energy to. But I also believe it's a very important outlet for those in small towns like Benson to be exposed to the big city, be exposed to, being who they can be, because oftentimes they don't have people to relate to in their small communities. And I appreciate, I was a member of the Coast Guard for 4 years, and the reason that career ended was because I did have advances from somebody's wife, and I said no, and she came back and said, well, I'm going to write your command because she suspected something. So anyways, that ended my career. I chose the out. But Lisa, I'll be one of your voices and I will be your help, so I will talk to you after the session. So
Thank you very much.
There was some polling that was released a week or so ago that has shown that public attitudes toward the don't ask, don't tell policy have changed significantly in the last several years. A majority of the public supports repeal of don't ask, don't tell. And that is true regardless of political persuasion. Democrats, independents, Republicans, people who identify as liberal, moderate, or conservative, all, if you look at those categories, support the repeal of don't ask, don't tell. As is probably predictable, the folks who identify as Democrat and liberal are the most supportive of overturning the policy. Folks who identify as Republican and conservative are less supportive, but still majority support for overturning the policy. So there has been a large shift in public opinion toward overturning the policy. Something that I'd be very interested in hearing tonight, that shift in attitudes is a result of people changing their minds. Clearly, a lot of people are changing their minds on this issue over time. Have any of you had a conversation with somebody that you know about don't ask, don't tell, and seen somebody, as a result of something you said or a discussion you had with them, change their mind, or have you witnessed that kind of a conversation? And what was it that changed somebody's mind? Was it a personal story? Was it a fact? Was it a logic-based argument? How did that change happen in your experience? So if anybody has any of those stories that you'd like to share, I think some of us would be interested in hearing those. Yes?
Hi, everybody. My name is Brenda Watson, and I'm on the board of directors of the Imperial Court, and I'm also on the board of directors of Scouting for All. I was never a military person. I was a tuna fisher girl and served the fleet out of San Diego for several years. So that's my only connection to the ocean. My question tonight is, when an individual serves its term, his or hers term in the military, and is released after that person is released, can any of those persons that come out gay have their benefits extracted? Now, I know one person, and Lisa, you probably know her. Her name is Autumn Sandine. Okay, she's a retired Navy person.
Retired chief and is a transgender.
Exactly. Now, she's the only person that I know who's getting a full disability ticket, full benefits. Now, at any time, say if she becomes to the point where she's no longer disabled, can they extract her benefits from her?
Well, that's actually a non-gay, non-transgender, non-bisexual, non-lesbian question. The fact of the matter is, when it comes to your level of disability, it can go up or down, whether it's through the Veterans Administration or if you are retired as a disabled military person. And that's a separate issue. It has nothing to do with your sexual orientation. But what I would like to tell everybody is that in 1993, the government did analyze the fact that 13 of our allied nations are actually allowing people to serve openly as gay in the military. And before, during, and after 1993, our military has done efforts with them, some which were war, some which were training, which both our people and their people cohabited together. And thus far as I know, because it would have been in the news, not a single one of our American service members have ever said, I cannot support that mission because that military has open gays. And that ought to tell you something, because all along the United States military has been working with other militaries, 13 of them, that allow open service.
To address Brendan and Steve, I have my VA card. The VA is my primary medical care. When they interviewed me and asked me if I was married, I said, yes. What's your wife's name? I said, Jeffrey. The clerk stopped typing and said, oh. So, I'm still getting my benefits. I have not heard of anybody losing their benefits because they're gay after service. I've even heard of certain VAs distributing hormones for those who are transgender veterans. I don't know the specifics on that, but I've received that from the National VER organization. To address to Steve, regarding educating the public, Todd Gloria, when we first met, and I was always bringing up Don't Ask, Don't Tell with Susan Davis's office, he was always saying education is the biggest part to influence those who oppose gays in the military. I am a member of the San Diego United Veterans Council. There are 220,000 veterans represented at this council, and though civil rights is the primary concern for myself, but we are also educating the public that this is a taxpayer issue. We have to let them know that it costs money to go investigate someone who may or may not be gay. It costs money to discharge that person. It costs money to go recruit that person, the new person. It costs money to go train the new recruits and put them back in. So it's also a taxpayer issue. So it's a matter of educating the public about the civil rights aspect and the taxpayer aspect, which is more important. The Republicans, as soon as they heard the taxpayer part, they're like, wait a minute. And for the Democrats, of course, they fell in line with the civil rights issue. But going back to the poll that Steve was talking about, last week or a week and a half ago, the Gallup poll says the church-going conservatives even approve this even higher. So I wish we would understand what our priority is. What's the delay? Even Tony Young said this at the Rules Committee for San Diego City Council. He's like, I don't understand what the problem is. Why do we have this? I know fear is just playing a big part, and we need to educate the people about that.
Brenda, that question you asked is a very good one, and with regards to benefits and whatnot, if the person separates from the service and completely separates, no, they can't. There are instances with regards to the reserves where it